Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for a big game of the Super Rugby Pacific competition. Crusaders taking on the Blues in Christchurch. Blues only with a 22% winning rate when they take to the field in Christchurch. But this game, they've got all the momentum. The Crusaders season has been anything but perfect, whereas the Blues at the moment, they're sitting pretty close. They are on second on the table overall. They have had 11 wins, just the one loss to the side who are sitting in first. But the Blues have got that game in hand. So with a win here or even a bonus point, it would push them back up ahead of the Canes. But Moana Pacifica getting themselves a more recent win up against the Waratahs. All of these sides, the Waratahs officially now, well, they are, but they aren't. I was going to say they're officially out of the running, but they can actually no, take that back, they're gone. Waratahs cannot catch up because they lost their most recent game, but everyone else is still in the running for a spot in the quarterfinals. The Highlanders playing the Fijian draw tomorrow. That is going to add more excitement to the top 8. This is the battle at the moment to see if the Blues can get back into first and do back-to-back wins over this Crusaders side. And speaking of the Crusaders, in their starting lineup, it is Joe Moody, Cody Taylor and Fletcher Null as the front row. Shalfoon as well as Quinton Strange in the locking duo with Cullen Grace, the in-form Grace at 6. Ethan Blackadder returns from yet again his 57th injury, and Christian Leo Willie there at number 8. Noah Hotham and Fergus Burke will be the 19 combo here for the Crusaders. David Arvili and Levi Amua in the midfield, and then Sevu Reece, Che Fiaki and Johnny McNichol as the back three. Now Reece is in tremendous form, and the same can be said about the man he's going head-to-head with in this contest, that being Mark Talia. For the Blues, though, in their front row, Ofa Toanga Fasi, Kurt Eklund and Angus Ta'aval, with Patrick Tuipulotu and Sam Derry as the locking duo. Now, two men who have actually had injury troubles of their own throughout the season, but at this point in time, they are both match fit and both raring to go here up against the Crusaders. Akira Ioane, a man who's been out of form, hoping to find it in this game. Adrian Cho and Hoskins Tutu. He's currently sitting second on the overall try scorers. Wants to bump himself up just that little. But more Taufa Funaki and Harry Plummer as the 9-10 combo, with Corey Evans alongside the return of Rico Ioane, AJ Lamb, Mark Talia, like I mentioned, and Stephen Perafeta as the number 15. Now, he is also returned from an injury. Now, I do think it's pretty brave putting him in the starting lineup, having Cole Forbes off the bench. They made that mistake with Zahn Sullivan. They rushed him back in. He ended up getting re-injured. Is it going to be the case with Stephen Perafeta, who was actually supposed to be off the bench last week, but due to a late pullout, it meant that he was not. He did end up missing out. We have got there go the Blues, says Carmen. Murray was a great commentator and player, says Axel. And there as well. And Yo the Tarze tuned in at 27-0. Says Mr. All-In. Yeah, brilliant performance from Moana Pacifica, who are still well and truly in the running for the top 8, which is crazy to say with how long this competition has been going on for. Of course, some of these guys into their 13th games. This one is going to be the 13th for the Crusaders and the Blues. Those sheddings, or the Crusaders, up for a hurting. Says Gareth there. And the Hurricanes played very well, or played well yesterday. Says the head office, yeah, getting themselves a big win over the Chiefs. So that's actually 2 from 2 at the moment for the Hurricanes over the Chiefs, but the trilogy could be later on. Earliest I believe it can happen is the semi-final of the competition. And yes, the Canes, who was player of the match, Sharks and Canes. Player of the match in the Sharks game was Vincent Coct. Player of the match, I believe, would have been Geordie Barrett in that game between the Canes and the Chiefs. But this game only around 5 minutes away, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, the impact off the bench is going to be crucial in this contest for the Crusaders. George Bauer, and Tamaiti Williams has got that return at number 18. Jamie Hanna and Tom Christie make up the rest of the forward replacements. Mitch Drummond, Kamara at 22, who hasn't had a huge amount of experience throughout this season. And Dallas McLeod at number 23 for the Blues. Ricky Riccatelli, Josh Fusitua and PJ Schick as there at 18. Berry and Suafua as the forward replacements. So no Dalton Papali'i for this game for the Blues. Then Sam Knott, Cole Forbes and Caleb Tangitau, the explosive-paced winger from the Sevens. He is there at number 23. We have got there Tino Goat. Oh, Kiwi lads, says a Blues Nate. Hi, Amish bro, nice t-shirt. Says Michelle, and did you watch the Black Ferns destroy the Wallaroos? I actually didn't. I ended up taking a quick nap during that time, but I assumed that it was going to be a pretty one-sided game. But I haven't actually seen Canada versus USA. How are we sitting at the moment for if that game's taken place? And if so, if Canada won, that would mean they win the whole competition, don't they? Because New Zealand actually losing to Canada not too long ago. One moment, we're about to sneeze, so I will quickly mute. We are good. Hopefully not sneezing too much throughout this matchup. Hi, all in Hamish. Says, Robin, go the Sharks, go Carmen. Says the head office in there as well. Like I mentioned, only a 22% win rate here for the Blues. And cheers to the bro Levi in Christchurch. Much love to your iPhone 15 Plus, bro. Says Jesse, and bless you, says I Lollipop. And that game has taken place, was the first game of the Pacific 4. It did, didn't it? So who did... Did Canada win that, or did USA get the win in that game? USA might have won that, now that I think about it. Who actually won the competition in the end? I can't really remember who's ended up on all of the points. They are just showing there Stephen Perofeta returning at number 15 in this game. It's a big call, and it's a little bit similar to that Sullivan situation. And of course, we've also heard the rumour Beauden Barrett could be returning to the Blues before the end of the season. Canada did, so Canada must have won the whole competition in that case. So a big congratulations to the Canadian women's side. Looking through at this front row, though, formidable for the Crusaders. Both sides in front of Scott Robinson will want to show exactly what their front rows can do. Joe Moody, Cody Taylor, Fletcher Newell, they have sent sides facing backwards pretty much at scrum time. They've been doing extremely well winning penalties, but the Blues scrum, they have won their fair share of penalties as well. And they've got a very good line-out, definitely when it comes to getting those line-out turnovers. And evening, Kiwi lads. Good to be back on. What's your date here, Hamish? Or what's your data here, Hammy? Is it like my score prediction or just my data in terms of like percentages? Because like I said, 22% is how many times the Blues have won in Christchurch. It is 7 kilometres a wind with 9 degrees Celsius in terms of the temperature. No. Harry Plummer playing outstanding right now, says Blues Nate. Yeah, although Harry Plummer is at 10, they've actually decided to put Stephen Perofeta at 15, which I don't actually agree with. I feel like in this case, when you've got an informed 15 in Cole Forbes, you don't need to take him out for the sake of a man who, yes, is in form, but is just returning from an injury. You put him off the bench, you take away a lot of that risk if you do it that way, and you don't end up possibly costing him his Super Rugby and the rest of the year from being silly. We almost saw that with Ruben Love. We did see that, how they went a little bit too aggressive with him, and he almost ended up completely blowing out his knee. But David Havili, a lot of eyes on him for this game. The situation is as follows. David Havili is in some of the worst form he's ever been in. And that sounds harsh, but that is honestly the truth. If he plays well here, it might be pretty strategic because it's in front of Razor, and Razor seems to really like David Havili. So if he has a big game here up against the Blues and can have a match winner perhaps, it might actually really elevate his chances of making it into the ABs. Only one-way street here. Blues, of course. Says Spider-Meg, the Black Ferns lost to Canada. They certainly did. In a close game only about a week ago. Ethan Blackadder returning. He's had 40 Super Rugby matches, which I think is about the same amount of injuries that man has picked up. And we have also got the Even Mai. Says Tupuai there. What do you think of the players threatening to break away? Says Manim, I've heard nothing of it, so I can't really comment on it. And hi, how you doing? Says Simran in there, doing all right. Got a bit of a hay fever kicking in, unfortunately, or it might be a cold, but either way, we are hopefully going to be all right throughout this matchup. Patrick Tuipalotu going to be leading side out onto the field. Now, they have got a home game up against the Chiefs just around the corner. Do you listen to live TV commentary over the earphones? I do not really. I've got it turned down to a stage where I can't actually hear the commentators, but when the TMO is talking, I can hear that. So pretty much I will adjust the volume so that I can hear the TMO, and that's about it. So I don't even know who's in the commentary box at the moment. One moment. Sounds like Grant Nisbet at the moment talking about Stephen Perofeta. I'm not sure who else is in the commentary box. I did see Justin Marshall before the game, though, so I assume he is also in there. alongside maybe Taylor Johnson, I think does the sideline reporting when they're down in Christchurch. Good evening, Blues Nate. Hope you've had a good day. Hope the ref don't go crazy with yellow and red cards like the Brumbies match, says Spider Mick. Now, hopefully it's a free-flowing game. We don't see too many cards happening throughout it. It looks like it's going to be the Crusaders kicking off from right to left in this contest. And this is what could be their last game of the season, theoretically, in terms of a chance of making the top 8. They still play next week, but a loss here would take away the relevance of that next contest. They need the victory. The Blues need the win to get back to number 1, and this game now underway between these two sides, ladies and gentlemen. The battle of the Crusaders versus the Blues. We've seen it many times over. A lot of the times it goes the way of the Crusaders, but so far this season, the Blues have had the advantage. Harry Plummer inside of his 22 from receiving the kickoff does boot it back down to Johnny McNichol. Looks to run the ball back hard, and for the Crusaders, it is all about trying to create early momentum. They talked about the fact that they had the inductee ceremony for the Crusaders Hall of Fame. You saw the likes of Norm Maxwell actually get inducted there. And for the Crusaders at this stage, they have to make sure that they play for the team, and they have to really step up against the top contender. I'm sick, but I feel better being in bed most of the day, says Brandon. So hopefully you do keep on recovering. Funaki back into the pocket, goes to Stephen Petafeta. Does kick it down the middle of the field. Now, handling at the back has been a problem for the Crusaders, whether that's Johnny McNichol, or whether it is, some cases, Chafiaki. That's going to be well taken by Stephen Petafeta, but they will go back for the original penalty. And this is going to be about maybe 32 metres out. Would be a kickable 3. The question is, do the Crusaders want the points, or do they want to go for the 7? But that is against, I believe, 13. Rico Ioane, I think, is the man who's been penalised there. Yeah, just worried about that 16th player, says Mr. All-In, and penalty already, says Spider Mick. And it looks like they have called for the kicking tee. Only 90 seconds into this contest. Taking some deep breaths, though, at the moment. Rico Ioane back into the lineup. He's had a few injury troubles, mainly concussion, throughout this season, getting knocked out multiple times. You do hope he is 100%. Normally, it's the case of if you get one concussion, you just slowly keep on adding more and more of them. But Fergus Burke now, line up this kick. He's 80% accuracy throughout his Super Rugby Pacific season. Needs to get this one nice and early, though. It's quoting 50% of live commentary against YouTube rules. Oh, that one's missed for Fergus Burke. That's not the start that they would have been after. I know that if you're saying the commentary word by word, you can actually get in trouble because of the broadcasters' radio rights. But I don't understand why you would want to just quote them for their whole commentary, because then you literally you don't add anything to it, if that makes sense. You'd just be literally saying what they're saying, and then you're just a robot at that point. Christian Leo Willie runs their ball forward for the Crusaders. Looks like Hotham. Oh, that's going to be, it should have probably been a penalty against Ofa Tuangafasi. Tried to roll to the side, took the ball with him. It's going to be knocked on by Hoskins Satutu, but it's slapped back onto the side of the Crusaders. Now Noah Hotham taken down by Choke. Looks like Sever Reese going to play halfback, tackled by Rico Ioane. Crusaders doing well to protect this ball, though. Now going to the short side again. Here comes David Arvili. This will be a turnover waiting to happen, and it's going to be knocked back by Hotham. Fletcher Null. Now set it up, and Tui Palotu looking to get the turnover of the breakdown. It's picked up by Mark Talia. Fires it back across now to Harry Plummer. They've got numbers on the outside here for the Blues. Corey Evans pops it up to Stephen Petafeta. 50% Hamish, says the head office. Yeah, 50% is still a lot, though. If you think about how many words a commentator says throughout a game and you just read off 50% of their script, it would just be weird, wouldn't it? You'd be no different to someone doing the play-by-play, writing out what's happening in court. But that's going to be kicked behind by the Blues. Sits up for Chafiaki. He's done extremely well to keep that ball alive for the Crusaders. They are only 5 metres out from their line, but they have lost a large amount of distance. We got Ivan in the chat as well. Welcome in, mate. That not Fergus Burke. What's going on? The man NPC Says Blues Nate. Now it's going to be kicked high from Noah Hotham. And it does end up putting it into touch. But that is going to be about 20 metres out. The Blues are in a great position on the field, morning from Gloucester, fresh back from the final last night. Says Harry and Luck. And Auckland all day, every day. Says Nars Williams. But great control from Harry Plum, who is looking very handy at 10 throughout this season. I feel like Scott Robinson will have his hands full in terms of who he actually wants to go with. Is that Ofa Tuanga Fussy down? Yes, it is. He's getting some strapping on his elbow. Sorry for the silly questions, Hamish. It's all right. I think you've changed your name as well, haven't you, compared to what it is normally. Possibly. And Peter Luckeye should be picked for the All Blacks versus England. Says Manny M. And what's your prediction for this game? I do think it's going to be closer than the last time that these two sides played. Of course, when that happened, we did see about a 20-point victory for the Blues. The Crusaders weren't able to score themselves a try. The fact that they've missed this early kick, though, I think will also concern them a little bit. Now, according to the live ladder, the Crusaders are on 17 points. Now, I think our one had them on 15 points, but either way, they still need a lot of wins to get themselves into a good position. But now, looking for the rolling maul here, the Blues, they are 22 metres out from the line. Kurt Eklund looking, searching. And behind the breakdown for the ball, Darry gets dragged down by Taylor. Tried to tie it up, but the ball is now available. Here comes Ofa Tuanga Fussy. That'll test out his elbow that he's just recently got strapped up. Now Tofa Funaki across to Rico Ioane. They shut him down pretty early. Tackle attempt from Blackadder. Now flat run from Akira Ioane. Dragged down 5 metres out. Tuanga Fussy goes across to Pirofeta. They've almost given him too much breathing room. He's almost able to snipe his way through. They have got the penalty advantage at the moment. Tuipulotu gets his knees chopped out from underneath him by Cullen Grace. Now around the side of the breakdown again, Akira Ioane. Changed my name for safety reasons to the head office of the Springboks by the looks of it. Do you think Rico is still faster than Sevu? Tell you what, it's a good foot race. I think the advantage that Rico has is because of his size. He gets a little bit of a bigger stride, but then it depends, because if you're going like pound for pound, then you probably give it to Reese. But the advantage that Rico does have is the fact that he has got that height advantage. Which team is Will Jordan playing? He's playing for the Crusaders, but he's not. He's been injured the whole season. So we haven't actually seen him in action this year. And come on, Offa, get up, no time to bleed. Well, he wasn't bleeding. He was getting his arm strapped up because of his elbow joint, but there was no blood in that case. Okay, Eklund now about to throw this one in. They're 5 metres out at the moment from the line, and the Blues have actually opted to go for the 7 rather than the 3. Now Tofa Funaki smashed on the short side from Christian Leo Willie. A lot of people will remember what that man was able to do. Oh, he's dove on that, Cody Taylor. Now, the rule is normally if you jump on that ball at the back of the breakdown, it has to be clear by a couple metres before you are allowed to dive. I think they said that he initially picked it up first, though, and then fell down. Good clearance from Fergus Burke. Crusaders, though, they had the early territory, and now they are just finding themselves playing just out from their own try line. Those crackouts when you pause. It'd be refreshing to see if I'm off, says Naz Williams. But yeah, that could have easily been a penalty against Cody Taylor if this was a different referee. Sometimes the referees do see it slightly differently. Saders dived on the ball at the ruck. Blues penalty, says Hanoi. Yeah, we've seen them give him before. Like I don't know whether they tried to say that maybe he was on his feet first. That's going to be another penalty advantage against the Crusaders this time. They're 22 metres out from the line, and the Blues looking for another attack. Here comes Hoskins Satutu. Out off of Funaki. Cross to Sam Darry. He's had his fair share of injury troubles, but before his injuries, he's actually got himself quite a few tries throughout this season. Big tackle from Cullen Grace. Now backline. Evans goes through. I do see that Dallas McLeod is actually starting in this contest rather than Levi Amua. But they're 10 metres out here. The Blues, Rico Ioane tries the sniping run, tackled by Joe Moody. Looks like Quinton Strange may have also taken a head knock. We know it's going to be physical between these two sides. This is once again another perfect example of that. Another offside penalty advantage against the Crusaders. Cody Taylor trying to shut down AJ Lamb. I'm looking around for Mark Talia, who normally is lurking around the side of a breakdown when they get this close to the line. Evans loses his footing. Still 5 metres out. Toi Pelotu, slow getting back up to his feet. Kiriwani, tackled by Cullen Grace again. They're 5 metres out at the moment here for the Blues. Who's going to be that man who seals the deal? Cody Taylor trying to go over the top of the breakdown. Looks like Ta'aval is going to drop down again. Another penalty advantage for offside against the Crusaders. This is about 4 in a row at the moment that they have given away. Tuangafasi knocks it on, and they'll go back for the penalty. And I believe, yep, double blow of the whistle. Crusaders are very close. Hang on. Bit of Sam Derry and Joe Moody, and also Gardner, I think, is getting in there by the looks of that. Or it might be Shelfoon, in fact. A bit of push and shove here between these two sides. Derry and Shelfoon getting in each other's faces. Big difference there is Derry wasn't getting selected because he was injured. Shelfoon wasn't selected because he wasn't good enough. Hey, lads, exchanging phone numbers here. Says Blues Nate. You should make an All Blacks squad prediction video. We are going to. We're just leaving it as late as possible so that we don't end up picking players who are injured, because then people get really annoyed. Okay, that's actually 2 penalties against the Crusaders, but about 6 penalty advantages against the Crusaders at this point. I'll be back getting a hot drink. Hopefully I don't make a mess, says Padza. And yeah, the cut on the eye of Quinton Strange there. So kicking the 3, maybe the right choice here on the road, says Jonathan Mason. Yeah, I feel like they're in the situation here. Oh yeah, so Derry was going over to get in the face of Joe Moody by the looks of it, which then just caused it all to kick off. Now lining up this kick. It's like a bit of a conversation there between Harvelli and one of his Crusaders forwards, but that kick's going to go over, and the Blues now will take the lead. 3 points to 0. So you're in that scenario of, yes, it's not as many points as they would have liked to get, but you still have to take the points when they are available. Sam Derry played for Canterbury. Sharmani's OG Cantab, and got him woken up at 6 this morning to a guy's hand reaching through my window trying to grab my laptop. Then I knew today's going to be a good day. Says Justin. Did he reach it in the end, Justin? Like, did you leave your window open? There's so many questions regarding that. Hopefully you are all right, though. Now, Patrick Toipalotu, tackled inside of the 22 at the moment. Hammer and knuckles. Says Fluffy, do you think Crusaders will make it to the playoffs? Says Blacks Armand. Well, that's the thing. If they win this game, they still can, because they've got Moana Pacifica in the last round. Now, would it be uncharacteristic for the Crusaders in this game to beat the Blues and then go on to lose to Moana Pacifica in the last round? Like, that could happen to summarise their season that they've had. They've got the 11th best line out in the competition. And to be honest, bringing Cody Taylor back has not really improved that. If anything, it's actually lowered it a little bit more. But well claimed by Cullen Grace to slap it onto the side of the Crusaders. Now David Arvelli running it hard in the midfield, tackled by his opposite number there, Evans. Now Hotham, cross to Cullen Grace, put pass on the inside to Fletcher Null. It's close to a turnover there for Tuangafasi, but he just couldn't quite get his hands on the ball. Hotham tries to snipe, offloads it to Christian Leo Willie. Double tackle made by Kurt Eklund. Now Burke going to the right-hand side. A little bit of a slip there for Harvelli. I aims from the Sunshine Coast. Welcome in, mate. I was silly enough to leave my window open. I jumped out of the bed and grabbed the laptop. He let go and casually walked off. Went outside and found my coffee mug lying on the grass. Where do you live, Justin? Some random bloke was like, oh, his window's open, I'll see what's about. And then you were just, sleeping, and then he's gone, oh, a laptop. It's a bit of fun. Sounds like you've had a strange start to the day. That is going to be yet again another stoppage. We're 12 minutes in at the moment. It's still 3-0 in favour of the Blues. And a Cape Town brew. Says Justin there, but yeah, the mistake from Johnny McNichol, who I am convinced doesn't actually use his hands at times throughout this season anyway. We have seen a lot of him dropping that ball. And it's one of those scenarios that unless he starts handling it a little bit better, like, well, that's the thing. The Crusaders season, it's pretty much over anyway, isn't it? But, yeah, it hasn't helped in terms of the handling. The pack weight, 926 for the Blues compared to 905 for the Crusaders. Is it a full house in Sadertown? It does look very full at the moment. I don't see too many empty seats. And there we go. Go Cape Town, go Justin. I'm going to shower, says Carmen. Have fun, I guess. Enjoy. 13 minutes. And we've got ourselves some scrum resets, which we are going to see quite a few of, I believe, throughout this game. Both sides have had dominant scrums throughout the season, which is almost a little bit of a, like, believe it or not, tell you what, Cody Taylor's got a gash on the side of his head by the looks of it. He's got blood all around. They're just saying there that Kurt Eklund got in trouble for pulling back, but Cody Taylor's head is completely covered in blood, so probably don't blame the bloke. Doesn't want his hair dyed red yet. And we have got there, come on, say it. It says Ed Smith. Right, time is off. Cody Taylor trying to wipe away the blood. Now, the benefit that he has is the fact that the side that's bleeding's on the far side, so the referee can't see it. But also alongside that, his shirt's red, so you can't actually see the blood. Angus Tutterville. All the Blues are pointing at him as if he's just, like, stolen something, Cody Taylor. They're all going, look, he's bleeding, ref. He should go off. But referee, I don't think he saw it. Cody Taylor was strategically aiming his head the other way. One moment, I am about to sneeze. I think Justin Marshall's getting frustrated with the fact that this one has taken 2.5 minutes for the scrum to take place as the front rows continue to talk to each other. And that's the penalty to the Crusaders. That's a big one. And that'll give them a lot of confidence. I think that's Fletcher New again. That man has to be in the ABs, doesn't he, for his scrummaging just alone. And damn court sleep and wake up, says Mr. Orlin. And a must win for the Crusaders. Good morning from South Africa, says Rudy in there. And of course, later on tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be covering the game between Leinster and Toulouse, the Champions Cup final. And when is Scott Robinson coming back? I mean Scott Barrett, says the Black Salmon. I do think he's going to be back during the season. Like, if the Crusaders make it further. But if they don't, I don't think he'll have any game time before heading into those internationals. Why you make it quiet, be real? I just decided to mute rather than you guys having to listen to me sneeze. I feel like some people will be like, why do we need to hear that? So I just mute it to make it easier. McRun there from Christian Leo Willie as the Crusaders are sitting 10 metres out from the Blues line. Cody Taylor has another carry, gets his legs pumping. There was an awkward one for AJ Lamb. Looked like his knee got stuck underneath that breakdown. But he is back up to his feet. We'll be able to continue in this one. Cody Taylor now again making a few extra metres. South Africa will be back in Super Rugby just a matter of time. Although they won the Challenge Cup there, the Sharks, so I don't think they'll be too keen on coming back to Super Rugby just yet. Looks like good work from Adrian Cho. Oh, he's unlucky on the far side. If the referee was there, I think he would have seen that he had his hands on the ball out wide. It's going to be Dallas McLeod trying to run it in. Keeps the ball alive, but it's knocked on 5 metres out from the line from Harry Plummer. Tell you what, Dallas McLeod was pretty close to being able to run that one in, but it's just kept it alive at the last moment. And all sneezes. And all good, says Robert there, and free the sneeze, Hamish. Says Grant there as well. But that was the best attacking chance that the Crusaders have had throughout this game. Auckland Eden Park Super Rugby Blues versus Chiefs Saturday next, yes. Says Riedel. Before then, we've got a few other games that are taking place. Highlanders versus Hurricanes. Going to be the prelim for that one. But yeah, really good offload from Dallas McLeod to keep that ball alive. I think the Crusaders are trying to say it was a deliberate knockdown here from Harry Plummer. We'll see the replay. No, he did try and regather it. Which cup is Leinster playing for and which cup did the Sharks win? So the Sharks won the Challenge Cup. Leinster are playing for the Champions Cup. So pretty much Champions Cup is the top 20 sides. Challenge Cup are all the sides that missed out pretty much in the Champions Cup. As a South African, I hope we never go back to Super Rugby, says Rudy. Cape Town, South Africa, says Cape Rebel League. Looks like Cody Taylor is getting a bit more strapping around his head. I watched a 1991 vid. Northern Transvaal players versus South Africa's fastest woman, says Hanoi. And good defence, lads, says a Blues Nate. Yeah, so far we have not seen a missed tackle from the Blues. They are sitting 14 from 14. There's going to be a big chance here for the Crusaders. They love a scrum. Definitely when it's 5 metres out from their opposition line, that is where they are at their most dangerous. The big thing here is Johnny McNichol and David Arveli. Those are two men who are under immense pressure in this Crusaders backline. They both need to make sure that they do hang on to the ball. 16 and a half minutes in at the moment. Scrum so far. They've scored 3 tries from their 11 scrums in the red zone. The Crusaders, which I believe is included inside of the 22. Now big push. They've got the penalty advantage. Hotham, flat ball, goes off to Harveli. Look for the offload. Burke considered the cross kick and well cleaned up by Corey Evans. They will go back now for another penalty in favour of the Crusaders. So it seems to be general discipline advantage to the Blues. Scrum discipline advantage to the Crusaders. Dion Oosthuizen won at 17-14. Bok 15 came second, 11-44. There's a Noi there. All right, looks like they are once again going to opt for the scrum here. The Crusaders. Noah Hotham looks like he is getting just a little bit of attention. Looks like he's going to be all right, though. And Mrs. Williams take the gold, says a Fluffy in there as well. Like I've just said, the Blues have got a very strong scrum. So the fact that the Crusaders are able to do this time and time again to the top opposition in the competition, if the rest of their game was as strong as their scrum has been, they would be in a much better spot about now. That's like a little bit of a warning there to offer Toanga Fussy as well from the referee, just saying try and keep up. So if Richie Morgan comes back to New Zealand, does that mean he'll go back to the Crusaders? More than likely, but I don't think there'll be any time for him to play, if that makes sense, because I think it's still a wee while before we see him back as Bodie on the bench. Not that I know of for the Blues anyway. Like, they've still got Stephen Petafeta in the starting lineup. He has returned from his injury. Bonin is back training with the Blues, though. He just isn't in their side for this match. And the question mark is whether or not he's eligible to be in their squad for future games. This game, no matter on the table, will always be the most looked at for the Blues and the Crusaders. Hamish looks like the Crusaders are the underdogs today, says Arthur. They certainly are. They lost their first game up against the Blues without scoring a single try. Now they're 5 metres out, and they have got themselves the scrum feed here. They've already won 2 scrum penalties throughout this contest as well. And they get themselves another one here. The ball's not in. Hotham has said that it's gone down on the far side, so he didn't want to feed the ball in. And I think that a majority of this game, in terms of the stoppages that we have, will be around scrum time. It's probably at about 5 minutes of scrums. In fact, that would be an interesting experiment to do, is working out exactly how long scrums took up in this game. Now, I don't really want to do it, but I'm sure someone might have some free time at some stage to watch a replay of this game and just calculate it. Back in the 80s, we used to listen to rugby on Springbok radio because we didn't have pay-per-view TV. This channel reminds me of that. Says Cape Rebel League. And yeah, the awesome thing about nowadays as well is the fact that you guys, no matter where you are in the world, can also comment. So like that kind of has the radio style alongside the interaction as well, which I think is just awesome that we have got rugby fans from all around the world. That one holding steady now. Crusaders have been told to use it. Hotham goes himself, but he's tackled by Choate. Talia tried to rip the ball out of his hands. No advantage. Going to the Crusaders. Here comes Cullen Grace. Tackled by Tui Palotu. Another advantage. 6. That is Akira Ioane kicking the ball away almost in that breakdown. He might find himself in trouble. What a try that is, though. Who is it? It looks like either Cullen Grace or Ethan Blackadder. It's Blackadder who's returned from his injury and scored the first try in this contest, going on form. None of the Crusaders should have been picked for the All Blacks. I disagree. I think Fletcher Newell has shown that he has got a lot of class when it comes to his scrums. I think that Cullen Grace has been the most informed six throughout the Super Rugby competition so far. And the fact that he started at number 8 makes it even more impressive that he is right up there. I think Sever Reece, he's currently the leading try scorer in the competition, so that can't really be argued for whether or not he should be in the All Blacks conversation. But that is nicely done by Ethan Blackadder. Kicked over as well from the Crusaders, and that is now going to make the score 7 points to 3. And this contest, only players who can make the Wallabies from the Tars. Moana is Kifu for Moana. Says, was there from Hanoi. And let's go Sandari lead the way. Says Blues Nate. And Kipu says Hanoi. And there as well, before the IRB powered up, the scrum with crouch, bind, engage. Scrums used to take almost no time. Yeah, like the amount of time that you lose in a game now due to scrums is actually quite substantial. Definitely if you get two sides that opt for scrums often, like to the Crusaders, they do enjoy getting that opportunity to go for it. I don't think the Blues will score the next try, says Jonathan Mason. I don't think they'll be too far off being able to answer back here, the Blues. But it's interesting because that is already more tries in this game than we saw the Crusaders score the last time that they played up against the Blues at Eden Park. So, in fact, they've got more points than they had in that last game as well, and we're only 20 minutes in to this contest. Kurt Eklund now with this line-out throw to fire it in. They've got an effective line-out, although that was almost stolen there by Shalfoon. Now Eklund trying to make a couple extra metres in the process with Tafafu Naki. Do you think Razor should pick, or who do you think Razor should pick? Is Captain Barrett, Savia, Kane, Tui Piloto? I think he'll probably go Savia, to be honest. I don't see Sam Kane getting the captaincy. Definitely if he's only planning on playing this year. I feel like Razor will be looking towards that future and someone else that he can give that role to. Now counter ruck there, coming from the Crusaders. They actually managed to steal it, but it's knocked on from Ethan Blackadder after they did all the hard work. Looks like Cullen Grace trying to get that turnover, wasn't quite able to. Kurt Eklund taken down by Hotham, who's cleaned out by Choate. And the Blues looking to counter with a try of their own. There's another penalty advantage, this time in favour of the Blues. After 11 phases, Hoskins a 2-2. In fact, I think that might not have been given as an advantage in the end. I think he was very close to giving one. James Dolman round the side. AJ Lamb. 5 metres out now. Kurt Eklund goes himself. Gets that a little bit closer. The Crusaders need a turnover on their line. The Blues need a big carry. Of course, someone who's had many of them throughout the season being Hoskins, a 2-2. The ball is available again. Looks like a Kiriwani. It's going to be the one who was cut off by Ethan Blackadder. AJ Lamb, that's got to be close, but he's just short of the line again. Who's it going to be? Satutu tries to flatten out, and he will once again be just short. Great defending from Cullen Grace. Oh no, he's got himself penalised there though. They're close to the line, flattened out. Now around the side, that looked like Tarval. No, it wasn't. Who's that? It's Tuangafasi who scores the try there for the Blues. Like they said, there's not much razzle-dazzle, as Justin Marshall said. It's more just a case of bulldozing your way towards the try line and trying your best to fire yourself over the try line. And that's what Ofa Tuangafasi has done multiple times throughout this season. He's been very impressive in that regard. Well, we all go like that and like that as well. There we go. But the Blues, they've fired back with a try of their own. What's up, buddy? How much percentage of the World Cup you will cover? If you're talking Cricket World Cup, probably a very small amount. Just because normally, like, it's the worst time of the year in terms of with internationals taking place for rugby, and all it takes is one, I don't know what's a nice word to call them other than one that has profanity in it, but it only takes one person to give us a copyright strike for the cricket, and then we can't do any rugby. So, yeah, we're probably not going to do much of it. We'll leave that to the blokes who keep on sending out the copyright strikes. Tuangafasi is number 1. Blues deserve to be in the final, then maybe the Hurricanes, says Jonathan Mason. And also we have got their scrum also used to paralyse way too many people, says Grant. And most successful World Cup winning captains come from the scrum forwards, says Cape Rebel Leg. And that kick is missing away to the side, so that will keep the score at 8 points to 7. At this stage of the contest, the Blues have got themselves the lead, but looking pretty handy. I honestly don't know what way this one goes. I think the technically correct term is frick. That's pretty light compared to what I was going to say, Sebastian, so we'll go with that one, though. Now, Harry Plummer. And this one towards the touchline. Johnny McNichol thought about taking it quickly. He had plenty of time to be able to. I think he decided that it's better off going with the line out here, taking a little bit more structure. Time to get it right for the Crusaders. Cody Taylor will be throwing this one in up against a very hotly contested line out of the Blues throughout the first 24 minutes. Ready to throw this one in? Do you expect a couple new faces in the All Black squad this year? Definitely. If he doesn't have any new faces, a lot of people will not be happy. But Havili puts it on the outside, goes across to Chefiaki, backs his pace on the outside, fires it back on the inside to Sevu Reese, who's on the halfway line, fires the bullet pass across to Christian Leo Willie. Now going to the short side, McLeod, they've got an overlap in players here. Late tackle, penalty going against the Blues. Sebastian, that describes the refs in the Chiefs Hurricanes game yesterday, given a red card and multiple penalties. Well, I go to the toilet and scoreboard changed drastically. See you next Tuesday. You could go with that one, yeah. And what do you think of the new scrum rules, says Rudy? Until we get to see them in effect, I can't really comment on it. It's like being asked about your new car, isn't it, and how it runs without actually receiving your new car first. Like, you got to see it in action before you know whether or not it's good or bad. Yes, it's going to be something that changes the game a little bit, but yeah, until we get to see that car in test drive, I can't really tell you whether it's going to be good or bad. Sounds like they're going to actually take on the shot at goal here, the Crusaders. Jay Fiaki from about 53 metres out on the angle. We saw him nail a kick in the last week's game from about that same distance, if not maybe a little bit further forward. Yeah, late tackle from Adrian Cho. Ill-disciplined there. And dropping the shoulder into McLeod gives away that penalty. Imagine if they had Captain's Challenge in rugby like NRL. Yeah, it would be interesting, but I feel like rugby is very much so, like, it's weird to say, right, but rugby, they try and really, like, make the goal of respect the ref, and I guess by having a Captain's Challenge, yes, you can correct the referee's mistakes, but then World Rugby would look at that as, oh, you're showing the errors that our referees are making. We'd rather you don't show that and you just accept the penalty even if it wasn't one. Now, Chefiaki looks like he's got the distance. Just missed the way to the right-hand side, though. Will now be their 22 dropout. The game is too easy for defenders to get penalty turnovers, so teams kick more. Need more rucking, says Hanoi, and refs are too inconsistent at the breakdowns, says Justin. But yeah, that is something that World Rugby wouldn't want to highlight, though. And games would take up to 3 hours, says Ed Smith. Definitely if you get your Captain's Challenge back. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but did we have a patch in the Bunnings NBC where they had Captain's Challenge? Was there one season that they had it how you were allowed one? I can't remember. They had a few changes in the laws. Yeah, but in the same sense, they weren't given the Captain's Challenge for nothing. Says Sebastian, yeah, but it highlights the inconsistencies. Definitely if, when you get a Captain's Challenge correct, they give you your Captain's Challenge back. So you don't just get the one for the game. You could end up getting 5 if the referees continue to get it wrong, and then that looks bad for that ref, and, you know, people will complain more than they already do. Penalty to the Blues, says Jonathan Mason. Yeah, Manson, seen quite a few penalties throughout this game already. That's going to be a knock-on there from Fergus Burke, an accidental offside from Noah Hotham. At the moment, Burke and McNichol are the two big concerns for the Crusaders in their backline, alongside Havili as well, of course, but they just don't seem to be able to catch the ball. And at the end of the day, like, that's one of the first things you're taught in rugby. You're taught how to catch the ball and you're taught how to pass that ball. And tackle as well, of course, but at the moment they're just getting the fundamentals wrong, the Crusaders. On Rugby Pass TV is London Sevens on. Idea who is playing? The London Sevens. Who's playing in the London Sevens? Not too sure. Absolutely right. Retaining the challenge like in cricket. Says Sebastian. And hard luck man says Mr. Orlin. Now the Blues have decided to kick this one for the corner. Felt like the kick was just a little bit too far out for them to be able to line it up. 29 minutes into this contest now. They will look to get this rolling maul marching forward, which they have many times throughout the season, and it's been pretty effective. Although Eklund hasn't scored as many tries as he did last year, I don't believe, as of yet. Another advantage that is for collapsing the maul against the Crusaders. Oh, a little bit of a slip there from Corey Evans. And they'll go back again for another penalty. I honestly believe this game has been played under penalty advantage more time than it's been played under just normal time. At the moment, lots of players rested for the Blues. Says Ed Smith. Such as... I know that they haven't got Dalton Papali'i. Other than that, though, I think that they've pretty much gone with their strongest lineup. So I'll be curious to see who you'd say they are resting. Bryce Heem, I believe that is due to an injury, not due to resting him. And then pretty much everyone else is who they would normally go with, I believe. Now going to the front of the rolling maul. Oh, that one's gone down by the looks of it. This time not a penalty, Corey Evans. Who will he play for? International, is England maybe the All Blacks? Says Blues Nate. Well, so far throughout this game, he's looked very handy. That looks like it's going to be called as a rolling maul there. Crusaders being able to shut it down. They'll try and kill this ball off, and they do just that. And they will get themselves their scrum feed now. 5 metres out from the line. I think it was actually Che Fiaki alongside David Havili who got in there. Christie and Sullivan. Well, Christie's been out of form anyway, so you probably wouldn't go for him. And San Sullivan is injured at the moment. And I think Christie might actually be injured as well now that I think about it. So I think those two are both on the injury list for the Blues. Yeah, Havili gets straight in there. And then just kept both hands on that ball. Was never given that one up, Havili. 30 minutes in at the moment. And we're only sitting with a 1 point difference between these two sides. How long the advantage apply, Hammy, or ref call? Yeah, it's normally to the ref's discretion, really. Like, it's normally based off how much, in terms of meters, you can make during that time. And tons of depth at the Blues. Says Ed Smith. Now ball's going to be fed in. Now Christian Leo Willie breaks off the back. Talfa Funaki manages to stop him. Now Hotham looking off to the short side. Gets it away to Grace, who runs high and hard. Gets his knees down, so they do have to release. And the Blues have just flopped right over the top of that one. Clear as day, that penalty. And the referee says, yep, we'll go back for that one. A good run forward from Cullen Grace. Player leaving feet. In fact, I think it was 2 players leaving their feet and that one. So now the Crusaders making a lot more meters. And the Hurricanes, says Ed Smith. 4 penalties against both of these sides, but probably about 8 penalty advantages against both of these teams as well. There's a lot of intensity when it comes to that Crusaders scrum, and straight away they try and go off the back, make about 20 meters or so in the process, try and get themselves that next penalty. But the Blues have been defending well. Like I mentioned, after about 20 minutes in this game, they had not actually missed a tackle at that point. Be thrown in now by Cody Taylor, straight to Cullen Grace. Burke goes across to Havili and behind to Che Fiaki. Decides to go for the boot and behind Sever Reese, chasing after it. Taken by Plummer. He will look to put this ball into touch. Great kick from him. It's actually bounced back on the inside. Fergus Burke almost having a handling error again. Oh, you ignore my comment. A long-time loyal Kiwi Lads member, I'm crying, says Nars Williams. Where was it? Oh, that pause is fantastic artwork, man. I think it's real, says Nars. I'm apologising there for not reading it. Nice run forward from Tui Pelotu. Now Funaki going off to the left-hand side. Peter Feta unable to snipe the gap after Moody wraps him up around the bootlaces. Fatuanga Fasi, the lone try scorer at the moment for the Blues. Get Burke off, says Ed Smith. Yeah, although off the bench they've got Kamara, which is even less experience in this one. Mark Talia wrestled down. Some big shots being put in by both of these sides early on in this contest. Sam Derry up to the 22. Great bit of work there. And the turnover is good. Now Tuipulotu looking for the turnover of his own. But he wasn't on the ball. McNichol back in the pocket. Does look to kick this as hard and as far as he can. Only gets it down to 40 metres out from the Blues line. Perafeta now passes on the outside to AJ Lamb. Little bit of a trip there on Che Fiaki. I don't think it was on purpose. Just two players running the exact same line. Now Funaki, short ball to Plummer, who was almost through. Couldn't quite get his offload away to Derry. Now Funaki goes to the short side. So 2-2 with the offload. Tuangafasi gets his second of the match. Who would have thought that the only man for the Blues who would be able to score a try would be their big loose head prop in Tuangafasi. And this is the game to do it as well in front of Scott Robinson. He said, I can play one, I can play three, and I can score you 2 tries in a first half up against the Crusaders. The Blues, a little bit of an aimless kick from Johnny McNichol, pretty much just feeding the counter-attack. And then it was only a matter of time until they made those extra meters. Nice lull. Says Nars Williams, you need to hold the ball. Crusaders, Blues possession, momentum start rolling. And checkmate, go the Blues, and goodbye, Rob. Says Ed Smith. And there as well. Just showing there, Tofa Funaki making the right decisions. Great offload from Satutu as well. To be able to get it away. Does anyone else have the same feeling? I'm just going to put it out there. That Johnny McNichol has had one good game this season and that's it. If he's, he had that one good game where he won it for the Crusaders. Then he cost them the next game with his yellow card. Then from there, he's been out of form, but they keep picking him, and he keeps ballsing it up for them, unfortunately. But that is now going to make the score 15 points to 7 with a successful kick. And Agrees says, I am giant. Don't get me wrong, when he gets it right, he's a good player, but he hasn't got it right in Super Rugby, unfortunately, for Johnny McNichol. The game boring when the ref blow the whistle too much, too many rules interfere with the game. Says Spider-Mickey, agreed. Hamish says, John, both tries in the same half on the road is amazing for Tuangafasi. Now Tofa Funaki sitting on the 22. Across to Patrick Tuipulotu. Sounds like a Kirioani. He is still out there, but sounded like the Blues actually did make a change. I'm not too sure who that was as of yet. We will know very soon. Now Johnny McNichol passes across to Fergus Burke, another man who's been out of form. Luckily, though, the Saracens have decided to sign him. So that's probably great news for the Crusaders. Fletcher Null on the halfway line. Crusaders rebuild begins for the next year. Says Ed Smith, how many games have the Crusaders won so far and against who? So the Crusaders did beat the Chiefs. That's a little kick in behind from Dallas McLeod, who's decided to kick it out on the full. So now the Blues are once again going to have themselves the lineup. But so far the Crusaders have won 2 games. One against, I believe it was the Rebels, that they won about 33-0 or something like that. And then their other game up against the Chiefs. Everyone else, though, they have lost to, whether that's the Brumbies, the Tars twice, the Hurricanes, the Blues, the Highlanders, pretty much any team you can think of, they have lost to. Fiji and Drua, they also lost to them. Now, going to be firing this one across to the left-hand side here for the Blues, including the Force. Says Gita, yeah, although the Force making their late comeback in this season by the looks of it. They are close to that top 8, the way that it currently sits. Now, Tafafu Nahi. Let's put it up high again. Reese lining it up. Oh, that's a hard shot coming in from Harry Plum. I'm not too sure there was a lot of arm wrapping involved in that one. Now Hotham goes across to Blackett. A good shot coming in from Kurt Eklund, as well as Satutu, to pretty much just halt that Crusaders runner in his tracks. Now Hotham puts it high. Blues have Talia on the halfway line, who looks like he's going to run this one back, and it's dangerous when he does. Great low tackle made by Cody Taylor. In fact, no, sorry, it was Joe Moody. And the penalty goes the way of the Crusaders. The Chiefs have shown vulnerabilities. Can't see them winning too many playoff rounds. Lost both times. The Hurricanes struggle with the Rebels. Says Jonathan Manson, and Kiwi Lads needs to rebuild for the next World Cup. Says Rugby, who do you think we should sack? Because, I'm the only one on the streams normally, so I guess the only person I can sack is myself. But then we'd have to find a replacement, wouldn't we? But yeah, great work from Ethan Blackadder. Got his hand straight onto the ball. I mean, Derry cleaned him out from the wrong side of the breakdown, so that was a fair indication it was going to end up being a penalty. Chiefs, oh no, I read that one, didn't I? About to throw this one in. And still close, never underestimate Crusaders from Nars Williams. Just a little bit earlier on. Now Blackadder dragged down by Eklund. Short side. Sever Reese gets it away to Taylor. I'm not sure if Cody Taylor's going to... I assume he's going to be in the All Blacks, but it's a strange one, because based off form, you probably wouldn't select him. Zach Donner with her traitorous Bulls ways, says Grant. Now 10 metres out. Hotham across to David Harvili. The Blues defence in this game has been really strong. I'm thinking we need a smoking hot female commentator for the next World Cup. I mean, I can try. I don't think it will go very well. Right. Another penalty going the way of the Crusaders. They've got 15 seconds here remaining of the half. They decide to take the quick tap. Out to Fiaki, who scores it. And that is a great way to finish the half for the Crusaders. They've decided that they needed to take the opportunity when it was there. And that is exactly what they have done. Cody Taylor, the man who decided that they needed to go for that quick tap. But Fiaki, 4th try of the season, 5th of his career. Okay, I think they're just saying that it's going to be half-time. No, jokes, bro. I don't have to read my comments. I was playing joking. Says, no, William, no, it's all good. It was like, I had about 15 comments there, and that one at the top was from yourself. I actually couldn't see that it was from yourself until I scrolled up a little bit more, so I was just reading it out of instinct. What do you think about the fake crowd noise through stadium speakers, mainly speaking Eden Park? It's a bit weird, isn't it? I know that during the lockdown phase, we went through like a patch where in football they would try and put fake crowd noise. Same with professional wrestling's been doing it for a long time to have that kind of fake noise of the crowd. But it always feels weird when you see or you hear people cheering and you don't see anyone cheering. That's normally a fair indication that they've added it in. And missed the conversion, says Jonathan there. Lining up this kick for Fergus Burke. And just misses away to the left-hand side. So the score at halftime, 12 points to 15. A close game between these two sides. And it is far from over, ladies and gentlemen. There is still plenty of action to come in this contest between the Crusaders and the Blues. Still anyone's contest. And at the moment, anyone wondering about the odds of this matchup, the way that it currently sits, Crusaders are $3 underdogs. Who's at Saders 10? It is Fergus Burke. He's heading to Saracens next year, which I think is, at the moment, probably not a bad thing for the Crusaders. He's pretty green, but maybe England and the Saracen side will be able to help him out a little bit more in the future. You need to learn how to commentate alongside someone else, give the people what they want, and get the smoking hot blonde beside you for your next World Cup views, and subscription will be up. But you got to remember, I'll probably have to pay the smoking hot, as you call it, smoking hot blonde to sit next to me. So all of the World Cup budget would go into that rather than actually doing anything with the channel. And I feel like a lot of you guys will be like, oh, well, you got to do what you got to do. Just pay the lady. But yeah, it might get quite expensive overall. Sorry, Nars won't call the play early again, says Jonathan there. And also we have got the Crusaders would be ahead, says Mr. Orlin. And that one as well. But yes, second half not too far away from getting underway, ladies and gentlemen. Champions Cup game later on tonight. We are also going to be covering. That is the matchup between Leinster and also Toulouse. Now that one's going to be kicking off at 1:45 a.m. New Zealand time. But we are going to be starting at 1:30 a.m. New Zealand time. So a nice late night for ourselves. And what I will quickly do while we are at halftime, we will of course get some stats, but alongside that we will also schedule that live stream so you guys know exactly where to find it when the time does end up coming. And like I said, it's going to be 1:30 a.m. I feel like I'm the only one who cares about the channel and moving it forward, says Rugby. You just want to see a smoking hot blonde, as you called her, on the channel. I feel like it might work for one live stream, but then some people might get sick of it. Just get the green leader, says Refulsia. And also, did you see the report about Aidan Morgan signing with Ulster? I did. Bit of a surprising one, but at the end of the day, he's been a pretty handy player for the Hurricanes. So, I don't think it's a bad option for Ulster. Plus, they do seem to really like trying to bring up that young 10 through their rankings. We've kind of seen it time and time again with some of these Irish sides. Do you mind naming your all-star rugby team after the World Cup? Oh, I think I had one, but sadly I cannot remember. I actually think, I know what I did, now that I think about it. I actually did a video on Rugby Challenge 4 that never went up on the channel because I wasn't that happy with it. But pretty much what I did is I put the team of the tournament that that World Rugby selected, and then I went with the players who I thought were the team of the tournament outside of who they selected, and I had a game on Rugby Challenge 4. It actually went down to the last minute of a 1-point difference, but for some reason I was just like, nah, I don't think it's going to go up on the channel. I'll probably find it somewhere, but yeah, I had an interesting team. They won any favourites, Leinster and Toulouse. Says that Leinster does well versus Toulouse usually. Says Jonathan. Well, that's the thing. Both of those sides have more than enough capabilities of going on and winning that game. And I think that that's what makes it so exciting. The fact that it's on neutral ground means that there's a little bit less in terms of home field advantage, because normally Toulouse at home you'd say they'll win it 9 times out of 10. Leinster at home you'd probably say they win it 8 times out of 10, somewhere around there. Whereas when it's played at a neutral ground, I would actually say that Leinster have a little bit of an advantage in that regard. So yeah, I would probably say Leinster should win, but Toulouse have more than the capabilities of getting themselves to win as well. The Kiwi lads with the trophy in there as well from Pila. And Leinster by 15, too much quality around the park and the bench, says a Rugby and there as well. But yeah, they've got a really strong side, Leinster, and it is going to be a tricky one for Toulouse. But, it's also going to be one of those games that I think could go down to the wire, because we saw Leinster start so well against Northampton and then they kind of dwindled off a little bit, and then they came back as the match wore on when Northampton starting their comeback. Have you ever been to South Africa before? I have not. No, it is on the bucket list of somewhere that I would like to go at some stage, but yeah, I don't think it will be anytime soon, because according to Rugby in the chat, our next big purchase for the channel needs to be a woman to sit next to us on it as well. Oh, they're doing Catch the Colonel. I bloody love this segment. Although it does seem unfair. Sometimes they make the Colonel a lot slower for certain people. But Matt needs to try and beat the Colonel to get $500 of KFC. Here we go. We're going to watch him. He's off. Oh, it's a good race. But Matt's got some good strides on him. And he's going to win it as well, old Matt. He gets $500 worth of the KFC. I feel like every time I mention that, I should be getting $1 from KFC. And after mentioning it 50 times, I'll have enough to buy one piece of chicken. Have you been out of New Zealand? I have. I've been to Australia and also to Indonesia when I was a lot younger. But, yeah, overall, other than that, not really too far. My grandma always says if it's got tits, tyres, or a transmission, I assume that is, it's going to cost you some money, says Harford. Sounds like a very wise lady. Harford against Northampton, they tried to sit on the win too early. Don't be fooled by that. We have got there, they just took the foot off the gas on purpose. Perhaps a Doris captain mistake. Today Ryan is there to lead them home from the bench, says a Rugby. And there as well. Transom says, yeah, I'm not too sure. I thought it was transmission maybe. One moment, we will go like that. And we will go like that as well. But I should mention, Ofa Tuangafasi, the only man to score a try for the Blues in this contest. And then for the Crusaders, we did see just the one try, or in fact the two tries, sorry. Che Fiaki scoring the most recent one. I'm sure not old enough to talk about, a lot younger. I am a bit, though. I'm getting up there in the old age, but well, not the old age department, but the age department, you know. But we will go like that, and like that as well. There we go. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we have got that next live stream scheduled as well. While we are at it, we will also get some stats to do with this game, so that you know exactly what has been happening throughout this Crusaders versus Blues contest. Yeah, I do recommend, if you are in New Zealand, it's going to be a late night if you stay up for Leinster versus Toulouse. Should also mention that we have got a game taking place tomorrow that we are doing between the Fijian Draw and the Highlanders. Now, that game is taking place in Dunedin. And, yeah, it should be a very entertaining game. At the end of the day, we know that both of those sides have got the capabilities of winning it. They're both still inside of the top 8 as well. So that is a big bonus. But still plenty of time left in this Super Rugby season. I know we've only got one more round, but a lot of sides can still make it to the top 8, including Moana Pacifica, who managed to get themselves their most recent win. Now, I believe the Crusaders are actually on 17 points at the moment, which means if they win this game, they would move into the top 8 just for now. And with the game up against Moana Pacifica next week, I think that they'd actually feel relatively confident to make their way through to the next stage. Is this the Crusaders' worst season in years? It is, yeah. They've gone from 7-time champs, like in the most recent, 7 seasons or whatever it is that they've been able to win. But, yeah, it's certainly not the season that the Crusaders have been after, but that does not mean that they still can't make the quarterfinal, and a lot of people would say that that means the competition is broken. The fact that the Crusaders could have 3 wins throughout the season and make it through to the quarters to go head-to-head with a side that has won all but one of their games. A transom is the back end of a boat, where the rudder or outboard motor gets bolted on. Ah, well, there you go. 207 metres made for the Blues in this contest compared to the 198 that we have seen made by the Crusaders. Defenders beaten 10 by the Blues compared to the 4 of the Crusaders. Offloads are pretty even, 5 and 4. The tackle stat is not, though. 61 tackles made by the Blues with only missing the 4 tackles, so a very good percentage for them. Crusaders have made 115 tackles. They have missed 10. So it actually works out to be about the same in terms of their percentages, with a bit of an advantage in favour of the Blues. Discipline, 7 penalties against the Blues compared to the 4 of the Crusaders. And based off this season so far, Hammy, do you see a lot of changes to the All Blacks later this year versus last? Yes. Because straight off the bat, with the amount of players who either retired or went overseas, you're going to have about 6 or 7 changes just from the get-go anyway. And then adding these guys who are in great form throughout the season, you're going to get a few extra changes in there as well. But the most running metres for any Crusader player was actually Christian Leo Willie with 39. And then alongside that, we did see the most running metres for the Blues coming from AJ Lamb, making 45 metres, 5 carries, and also having the 1 defender beaten. When it comes to the try department, of course, Ofa Toingafasi has managed to get himself 2 tries for the Crusaders. We saw the earlier one for Ethan Blackadder, and then also alongside that, we saw the try more recently scored by Che Thiaki. 18 tackles made by Ethan Blackadder in this one, 15 for Fletcher Newell, 13 for Christian Leo Willie, and 10 for Grace as well as Quinton Strange. The most tackles made by any Blues player was Kurt Eklund with 12, a whole 5 more than anyone else in this Blues side. But we are close to the second half getting underway, ladies and gentlemen. In this contest, of course, the benches will have a pivotal role to play for the Crusaders. They've got George Bauer, and Tamaiti Williams, Jamie Hanna and Tom Christie, the other 2 replacements. Now, I believe Christie will be looking for those turnovers at any opportunity he has throughout the half. Mitch Drummond, Kamara, who might be a little bit of a concern, and then Dallas McLeod, he's actually in the starting lineup, so a different man at number 23. For the Blues, Ricky Riccatelli, Josh Fusitua, and PJ Sheck as the front row. Berry and Suafua, the other 2 forward replacements, with Sam Knott, Cole Forbes, and Caleb Tangitau. They had a little bit of a late pace into this side as well. But looking at what is next for these teams, next week, the Crusaders on Friday night will be playing Moana Pacifica. That is going to be the 7:05 p.m. kickoff. For the Blues, they are actually going head-to-head with the Chiefs. That is the 7:05 p.m. kickoff on Saturday. We are going to be covering both of those games on the channel as well. Why do you believe the Crusaders are on 17 points? Because the table that they keep on showing on the screen does have them on 17 points. So I'm trusting them at this stage with the standings. Just looking at the fixtures and results as well on the Super Rugby website. We'll have a look and we'll see whether or not we can find the live standings. No, see, they've got 15 points to the Crusaders on the Super Rugby website, but any time that they've shown it on this game, they've shown the Crusaders with 17. And that can't be for like a losing bonus point and something. So I assume that they've got their calculations slightly wrong. It's something that they'll have to work out before the end of this game and before the end of the season, or else they might have a few problems. And I'm back. What have I missed? So Crusaders scoring very late in the half. The Blues having 2 tries, both being scored by Ofa Tuangafasi in their front row. And great comeback for the Crusaders, says the head office. And there's on international rugby coming up, says Katsanel. So I should mention, if the Crusaders win this game, they would have to win it probably with a bonus point. If they don't, they'd move up to 19 points. And then if the Fijian draw can beat the Highlanders, then the Highlanders would have to win their last game. There's a lot of changes that can happen on the overall standings. We may even make a video about all the outcomes that could happen in terms of the top 8 and how every side can shift. Based off the season so far, do you see yourself pulling more girls than last year? Probably not, no. No, I like the inside of my house. So I haven't gone out of it too much. But who knows, maybe a little bit of luck, per se. Seems like a very strange question. How about yourself, rugby? Have you had a good season, as you've called it? 2 wins and 7 bonus points gives the Crusaders 15 points. Says Dion Sands. So yeah, the overall standings does have them on 15. My calculations had them on 15. Just on the overall one that they've been showing on Sky, they've got them on 17 points. Territory at the moment and possession both in favour of the Blues, 59% compared to the 56 top of the league. Says Rugby. 108 tackles have been made by the Crusaders. They have got the advantage in meters made for the Blues by an extra 20, 221. Defenders beaten 11 to the 4. And Moana have all to play for next week. Says Hanoi, their chance of making the top 8 is still there. Chances of the Waratahs making the top 8, they are the only side that cannot make the top 8 now. I'll lay some girl bait in the house just in case. What is girl bait? McNuggets? I feel like they're a very good option. An M&M McFlurry. I feel like if you leave that in the centre of your lounge for long enough, a random female might show up. That's what I've heard anyway. Tuangafasi scoring on the 22nd and the 35th minute. Fergus Burke just getting the 1 conversion, but he has missed quite a few kicks throughout today, Fergus Burke, which actually would have given the Crusaders the lead at this stage of the fixture. Nuggets work, says Fluffy. I dare things are worse than I thought, says Rugby. And there as well, but no changes for either side in their starting lineup. Quinton Strange back out there after his HIA. He has managed to pass it. And now the Blues will be kicking off from right to left for the second half in this contest. Jay Fiaki breaking the line straight away for the Crusaders. They were able to get themselves a try just before the end of the first half. Good season can be ended by an STD, rather stay in the house. And thank you, says it was there from Simran for WB. What does WB mean? Wet blanket? No, what does WB mean? Waterboard? No, I don't even know what WB means. I'm not hip with the kids, it would seem. Now, Mark Dallaire is close to a knock on. Kiriwani has been told to get out. Oh, welcome back. Ah, I see. Warner Brothers was the other one I was thinking of. And that's a 50-22 for the Crusaders. Which side is the only side that can't make the top 8? It is the Waratahs. Hamish, just go out to a bar spot, a girl you like, ask her, can I buy you a house? Job done. And we need some Prosecco as well. Says Fleshin, and the Crusaders have kept in touch, giving themselves a chance to win, says John. Yeah, big kick there. Warren Batland. WB says Fluffy. What did you say? WB was either waterboard or wet blanket, which I don't think either of them is just a random starter to a combo, is it? Now throwing this one in, Cody Taylor. Nicely taken by Quinton Strange. Crusaders getting pushed towards the touchline here. They're running out of space, and Taylor wasn't touched. Brilliant defence from the Blues. And they needed that one to work for them. And that was the last thing that they would have liked there. Go the Crusaders is amazing product. And we have got there as well. I think I actually read them all almost, other than thank you. And they're from Simran. With 38 minutes remaining in this contest. And the Blues have been able to retain their own line out. There goes a Kiriwani hit hard by Cullen Grace. Both jockeying for an All Blacks jersey, and I think one of them has a much better chance of getting it than the other at the moment. Now Funaki kicks downfield again. I love a McFlurry, thank you, says Simran. An M&M one, or one of the other ones. I know that they had a Kit Kat McFlurry at one point. Then they got, I don't know if they got rid of that. What else is there? M&M McFlurry, there's a, I honestly don't know. I only know M&M McFlurry from McDonald's. See, girl bait. Can I have one too? See his pads ablaze. This is where if we had a McDonald's sponsorship and we could just be like, you get a McFlurry, and just put out some codes. Wouldn't that be fun? I've thrown in Cody Taylor. And that is going to be nicely taken by the Crusaders. Blackadder, who made the most tackles out of any player in the first half. Little chip in behind, but well cleaned up by AJ Lamb. Seemed like a good idea at the time. Tell you what, he has hit his head extremely hard on the ground there. David Harvilli, I believe he got pushed in the back by Ethan Blackadder. McDonald's is more popular outside of the States. The States is frowned upon. Says Rugby, nice attack and run from Che Fiaki. According to results, Crusaders have 15 log points. Says Johan, yeah. So anytime that they've shown the Crusaders over the last couple of weeks on the Sky calculations, they've got 17. But that is incorrect. They have only got those 15. Like we mentioned earlier on, Harvey skip past, poor pass there. Hasn't gone anywhere near the hands of his winger. Why isn't that 14 kicking, says Mr. Allin. To be fair, he's missed his one kick as well. So it's not the best day off the kicking tee for the Crusaders at the moment. I'd go with the dinner I'm cooking. I'm cooking chips and nuggets, says Pads Ablaze. Now Kurt Eklund. Had to throw it in. Justin Marshall just used the quote of David Harvilli got it wrong. That is something we have had so many times throughout the season. Cody Taylor now. Great pace being shown. Couldn't find his pass to Dallas McLeod. Ball still there for the Crusaders. Here comes David Harvilli. Big solid tackle on him by, I believe it was Rico Ioane. And Blackadder's got it, says Naz Williams. Now again, the Crusaders giving it to Shalfoon. Rico Ioane makes that tackle. They're 20 metres out and they need a try to give them the lead in this contest. Joe Moody makes 1 metre. Tuipolotu trying to rip that ball away. Looks like an injury for Shalfoon. Unfortunately, he's going to find himself possibly in the same position as Sam Derry. They were having the face-to-face earlier on. Derry still out there. Still continuing playing watching club rugby has made me very tired. What's your go-to McFlurry, Pads Ablaze? Says Simran, backline movement here for the Crusaders. Skip pass, little bit of a slip out wide for Harry Plummer. Big run from Cullen Grace. Now Reese. Another big wide cutout pass to Cody Taylor. Goes to Johnny McNichol, who hangs on to the ball. That is a rarity. That's going to be taken down, picked up by McNichol. Flicks it into touch. There's no one there, mate. And they'll go back for another penalty. Double blow of the whistle. This sounds like it could be a yellow card. Peter Fed is saying he's got 2 hands to it. Oh, okay. Now this is an interesting one. They've called it a deliberate knock-on, even though Peter Fed got both hands to it. So, like they've said, if you're a compromised defender, you do find yourself giving away that one. But then the question also has to be asked, was there any cover? Because that could have been a penalty try. If it's as bad as they're saying it was, does that count? Like, we're going to see here, slapping it down, where's the cover then? If that's the case. So, I don't know. I feel like if they're going to referee that one, they've got to referee it properly, and you got to look at it from both sides, don't you? Definitely an M&M McFlurry girl Feeling like the Crusaders and La Rochelle are both experiencing a fall from grace this year. Both play similar styles too. You ladies should try a McFlurry, says Fluffy, and you're offering Fluffy, says Simran. There's Oreo and M&M. Kit Kat is limited time, says Simran. So if the Crusaders lose this game with no bonus point, they are out. Not necessarily, because they would still be only 2 points behind the Fijian drawer. Now the ball is there. Penalty won by the Blues. Havili looks like he may have picked up an injury here. Extra flake included, says Fluffy. Win some, lose some, says Brian Hayes. And some rugby rules kill the game, says the head office. Right, so 12 is side entry, so that's against David Havili, who's injured himself in the process as well. I don't know what's happened to Havili. In terms of how he's gone from, like, don't get me wrong, at times he's still been a little bit shaky in the past, right? But he's gone from a player who was relatively up there in terms of a lot of people's rankings. But, like, it's a strange one. Go the Blues there, choked the woke, and they have now got themselves the line out here. 33 minutes remaining. Hi, says Ollie is the best. Welcome in. Oh, it's overthrown. Knocked on by Joe Moody, I believe. And the Blues have gotten themselves the possession back of them ruck. They've all go for the box kick, and they are playing with only 14 men on the field for the next little while. Che Fiaki taking that one nicely. AJ Lamb completely misreading it. Tuipolotu makes the tackle there. Now Burke goes across to Johnny McNichol. Now Havili going to Reese, who almost snipes through but gets it away to Dallas McLeod. After Hamish Dom a girl last year, I'm unsubscribing from the Kiwi Lads. Feel like I got that the upper hand. Well, I unsubscribed from the Kiwi Lads. I feel like I got the upper hand with that move. Says Rugby. Sure. Now Havili. Sitting 48 metres out from the line. Kiriwani went for the counter ruck. He's lost his feet, but he got back up and went again. Havili might be struggling with an injury. You'd have to hope so. Like, in terms of that's why he's been out of form. Otherwise, it's going to be a pretty tricky one. Did someone get carded? They did. Stephen Petafeta looking for the 50-22 there, and he's got it as well. Fantastic kick from the Blues, but it was taken back, they've said. I went to the Chiefs game last night. I was sad because they lost. Says Ollie. Right, Havili's going to be making his way from the field with an injury here. So, Johnny Rova is now out there onto the field. Yeah, looks like shoulder or pectoral. Are you alright after the theft? Says Simran there, and come on the Blues, says Novman. Our rules have to change. People play those, make those stupid rules. Doesn't play rugby. Who got binned was Stephen Petafeta, number 15 for the Blues, but Christian Leo Willie now having the carry just outside of the Crusaders 22. Hotham will send this one up to the Christchurch sky. And doesn't look like much of a chase coming from the Crusaders. A little bit overcooked for that one. Hamish can steal anyone. Just look at the man, my God. Says Beds Ablaze. You talking like kidnapping anyone? Because I don't think I'll be very good at that. I think I'm too nice to kidnap someone. Which is hopefully the case with most people who are watching this. Taufafu Naki. Now going off to the right-hand side to Ta'aval. Tackle by his opposite number, Null. Big flat run from Rika Ioane. Trying to snipe a gap. And great commentary for this match, Hamish. Says, Blues, no, thank you very much, man. Now Mark Talia. Out wide, Johnny McNichol. Wrestles in towards the touchline. Funaki across to Akira Ioane. Both Ioane brothers starting to get more and more involved in this contest. Here comes Ofa Tuangafasi. Now across again to Ipolotu. 5 metres out here for the Blues. Oskin Satutu out wide to AJ Lamb. And that is another try now for the Blues. Even with 14 men on the field, they now get the lead by 8. Hello from Ferry Springs, Vegas, Farnell. Says, Aaron, welcome in. I've accepted it like a man, but Hamish has been threatening me and recently kidnapped my family dog. Says Rugby. And as well, I don't know whether or not that's the truth. And come on, the boys. Says a missed all him. A nice fend from Mark Talia. And then just pushed out in the end. Tui Pelotu, he thought about just bulldozing his way towards that try line. And Badside can go 100%. He can steal me. I wouldn't mind. Run. And get in the Blues. Says Grant. And there as well. But AJ Lamb managing to score it there. Oh, we will go like that. There we go. I'm sure the dog has been well looked after. And Blue scored, says Indiara. Yes, they did indeed. AJ Lamb, the one who was able to score it. And kia ora from Darwin. Says Patrick James. Welcome in, mate. And that kick is good from the Blues and up the wires, says D's Nuts. Looks like one of the friends in the stands was clapping right in his friend's ear. Obviously was a Crusader supporter conversion. Okay, thanks, Blues. Don't let the dog eat the girl bait. That's true. Dogs do not like chocolate, from what I have heard. Fergus Burke is still out on the field. Another penalty goes the way of the Crusaders. They are still not out of this game. Crusaders keep in touch thanks to the ref, says Spider Mick. Kia ora Kazi too much, says Aaron. And there as well. Hamish, you need to get your ass to South Africa. You're rather popular with the ladies over there, says Grant. Yeah, but it's a long flight, isn't it? It's like 12, 14 hours, something like that. Different time zone. Although, to be fair, I'm already on that time zone, aren't I? So, wouldn't be too tricky. Not only his looks, but his personality. I could be head over heels throwing Tim, and I think I'll be a goner. Of course, referring to Rugby Itch, for those who don't know Tim. How are the wingers doing, particularly Clark? Clark isn't playing in this game. It's AJ Lamb out on one wing. No Caleb Clark at all in this contest. Looping around the Crusaders. Passing out wide to Severis. He's going to look for the corner. He's only 2 metres out now from the line. And now the opportunity for the Crusaders to look to strike again. They've gone in behind. Fergus Burke tries the cross kick. So Tutu having a run across and Leo Willie finishes it. And they've got it again, the Crusaders. Every time the Blues score, they seem to try and play that catch-up rugby. The 17 points to 22. Hamish called around to my family business, roughed up a few of our staff, demanded we pay protection money. This must be a different Hamish, I assume. And this ref doesn't like the Blues, penalise the Blues a lot, says Spider Mech. And are the Blues about to run away with this? Doesn't look like it. It looks like it's going to get that little bit closer before the end. Are you going to be excited now? Might have to take me with you. Happy 21st birthday, Hamish. Cheers, even though it's not my birthday, but I'll accept it. Another excuse to have a cake I don't think is necessarily a bad one. Christian Leo Willie getting it this time. Saders hanging in there. Says Fluffy, and yeah, this game is far from over. We've still got 26 minutes remaining. And both of these sides are in with a really good shot of getting themselves the victory here. 3 tries each. And a kick to come here for the Crusaders. He's got 20 seconds remaining. It looks like they're actually using up as much of this time as they can. Probably not a bad idea. Che Fiaki now. This must be close to 50, well, probably less than 10. Have you been serious? Says a Simran. Oh, and he's got that one over Shea Fiaki. That's going to make the score 19 points to 22. Do Rugby Challenge 4 career mode with all Australian teams. Ooh, that would be a bit of a brutal one, wouldn't it? But, like, I've thought about doing another Rugby Challenge one in the future of some sort. I just haven't quite decided what it's going to be yet that I actually do. I've got a donation there from Blues Nate. Great commentators for this great match, the Kiwi lads. Thank you very much, Nate. Greatly appreciated there, mate. And that will have to go towards, I guess, a McFlurry for a lady friend, won't it? I have to start scouting. And Dan says, showing, let's go Crusaders, says David. And I hope the Kazi Sevu cracks that black jersey far now. And before he started Kiwi Lads, Hamish was in jail for 5 years. Wait, but that wouldn't have been juvie, wouldn't it? Since I'm... Oh, no, I could have got moved from juvie to jail, couldn't I? And McFlurry money, says Fluffy. Exactly what I was thinking, Fluffy. Now on the halfway line, at the moment just playing Hamish as that dude, just returned to make him laugh, that's all. Says Rugby and do it for the Canes boys. Could be quite a cool career mode. We have done one for the Hurricanes before. I'm about to sneeze. There we go. I see. Oh, that's a big shot on Fergus Burke, and it looked a little bit high from AJ Lamb. The yellow card is just about to time out as Tamati Williams playing. He is indeed Tamati Williams. He is not on the field yet. I believe Fletcher Noah is still out there, but George Bauer has made his way on for Joe Moody. Bless you, says Dees. Going to be knocked on from Harry Plummer. Crusaders back in position. What do you think about Burden coming back to the Blues? It will be an interesting one. Little chip in behind here for the Crusaders. Burt trying to go for it, but well cleaned up for the Blues. Corey Evans, he's had a very good game. For a player who isn't normally on the starting lineup, he hasn't looked at all out of place. Discussing how Steezy on a live stream. Says Grant, they've taken that one quickly there for the Crusaders. Now Sever Reese. They've done well to shut him down throughout this game, but now he gets his offload away to Dallas McLeod. Once again, aimlessly kicking that one in behind, although that one's going to just go over the line. Like, Funaki saying he didn't place it. Now it's going to run his way up to 15 metres out. Who do you think it's going to win? I think it's going to be a very close one between these two sides. One moment, I am about to sneeze again, so we will quickly mute. One moment. There we are good. If the Blues, says David Glover. Simran, can Hamish buy you a house? And I'll fight you for both. Says Simran, right, Tamati Williams now is making his way onto the field, ladies and gents. The big man, ready to go. And Blues. I like to buy my own house, thank you, I don't need a man. Says Simran there. And also, we have got a little bit earlier on. Nice box on, Nate. For Hamish's Blues team. I like a McFlurry, thank you. Says Simran earlier on. Although, you just said that you don't want a man to buy the house, so maybe you don't want the man to buy the McFlurry either. I think Reese is the fittest for the Crusaders. Says Bill, yeah, he just runs all day. He's a bit of a pocket rocket, isn't he? Great, our upper Clutha team won our first game against Matakanui. Well, congratulations to yourself. Hopefully you did celebrate it big time for your first win up the Blues, says Tui, and it looks like an injury here for Mark Talia. Hope that it is nothing too serious. Be a big shame if it was, that is for sure. What you think Bowden coming back to the Blues? Says Tui, he is. He's actually training with them at the moment. And we'll come down, getting a bit excited there. Let's just take turns. See, here's Pads Ablaze. Can you buy Hamish a house then? Now we're talking. And COVID, mate, lol. Says Marcus, food is okay. A house is a huge commitment. I need a ring first. Why would it be a shame? Says Levak Samoan. Why would it be a shame? What was the shame? I can't even remember what it was. And Blues, let's go. A big loss for the All Blacks if Talia is out. You know, it looks like he's going to be able to continue just for now. Cameron Suafua is actually going to be the man who makes his way onto the field. Talia might have dodgy ribs, says Ed Smith. And cheers for your live commentary, says Bill. No worries at all. We are going to be back for the game later on tonight that has taken place between Leinster and Toulouse. So be sure to pop in for that one as well. And now can a player go for the ball and couldn't caught it and called deliberate hammy? Says Spider-Man. Well, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because normally it's if you get two hands to it, it's considered as a deliberate, like it's a catching attempt. That's another penalty to the Crusaders at scrum time. That was the tight head collapsing under pressure. So that's actually George Bauer. I know that they're tapping to Mighty Williams on the back, but it was actually on the side of George Bauer who won that penalty, according to the referee. Williams is getting all the credit, but Bauer does need some as well. And the Crusaders have decided to kick this ball for the corner. You said Talia's injury would be a shame, which is why I asked why would it be a shame, because he would be injured. And at the moment, he does look like he is in All Blacks contention. It's always a shame when any player gets injured, whether it's a guy that you like or you don't like. And we have got there, tell Hamish what type of ring you want. Says Ravi, I'm not really one for sharing. You got to be pretty special for me to share. And if Blues lose, do the Canes go on top? They would indeed, unless the Blues lose by less than 7. If the Blues are within 7, they would take top spot back, I believe. Oh, nicely taken by Quinton Strange. Cross to the right-hand side. Hotham with a short ball to Johnny McNichol. Talia is still on the field. Bauer, since making his way onto the field, has already had that impact. Oh, ripped away. Wait, the ball's already been ripped. I think that was a penalty, or should have been, against Hoskins Tutu. The knees were down. And now the Blues are back in possession. And also might be the ref that did my club rugby game. Says pads ablaze, and both of these teams deserve this massive game of footy. Says Aaron and try for the Crusaders. Says Bill, do they want to take it quickly? They do not. Oh, he's still considering it. Che Fiaki. Crusaders done well last 2 weeks against top opposition, says Hanoi. Until he is New Zealand's best winger. Oh, it's a bold claim. I mean, he's had a very good season, don't get me wrong, but I think people also are saying that Super Rugby is still right up there in terms of the best options for the ABs. The benefit you've got with both of them as well is they can play either side of the field. Blues all day. That's what I love about Crusaders. They always fight to the end. How's Rico playing? He's played all right. He's had a few decent runs, made some solid tackles. He hasn't had a standout game, though, I wouldn't say. He hasn't had a huge amount of those big break and runs. There's Cullen Grace going back across to Fergus Burke, who's through a gap now for the Crusaders. Needed the ball on the inside. Never saw him, but Che Fiaki did. And the Crusaders score again. Noah Hotham gets over for their 4th try, I believe it is now, of the game. We have did Severee score again. He did not know. He hasn't scored throughout this game, and Noah Hotham did. I saw in the Dolphins game at 6:05 p.m. says D's Nuts. I think we have got the game taking place between the Highlanders and the Drua first. And I think we are busy Sunday night, so I don't think we'll be able to cover that game between the Warriors and the Dolphins. Hopefully they go all right. Who scored it was Noah Hotham. And the end, who got it? If you ever paid a hot blonde to co-commentate, would you choose, or would you have to close live chat? That's a good question, actually, now that I think about it, because I don't know what you guys would be like. We'd have to do a couple trial runs, and we'd see how it went. The security race as the other best winger, or the best wager in New Zealand, equal. And that one has gone over. Crusaders now have got themselves the lead here in this contest, 26 points to 22. It's going to go down to the wire, 18 minutes remaining. The Blues, they are now underdogs in this contest. I like they're just saying that Che Fiaki, one downfield, was just a fantastic pass. I'm going back to sleep, Amish. Take care, pal. See you later. And prediction on the Drua Highlanders tomorrow. I think that the Highlanders should win, but the Drua, they've had a pretty decent season so far. So away from home is the big concern, I believe, for that game. Come on, Crusaders. We have more titles. Says Mr. Bravestone. Crusaders need a bonus point for these games. Go the Crusaders, says Bill Cornelius. Just get George to wear a wig and a crop top. Game far from over. Now Noah Hotham. We're going to kick this one downfield. Didn't get a huge amount of distance on it, but Ethan Blackadder cleaning it up well. He's definitely up there for man of the match in this contest so far. Cullen Grace hits it up. Tackled by Derry. Good clean out coming from Quinton Strange. And Severese and Mark DeLea are New Zealand's best wingers. That was kicked high from Hotham to the halfway line. Well taken by Harry Plummer. And the tackle made by Bell. Funaki goes across to Josh Fusitua. Rush defence from Cullen Grace to sweep out the ankles. Perafeta, ball in behind. Miscommunication. Well picked up by Cameron Suafua. That was almost a little bit of trouble again, and he's fallen the wrong way. Crusaders unable to get the turnover, though. Harry Plummer passes on the outside. Cole Forbes in open space. Boots it in behind. And he's got a bit too much on it. It's going to keep on rolling. And it rolls dead by a metre or so. And they'll go right back to where he kicked it from. And also, we have to take it back. This is not Hamish's Blues. Says Mr. All-In. And also 26-22. Crusaders in Google says Elena. And what's the actual score? It is currently 26 points to 22 in this contest. After 63 minutes, the Blues do still remain with a bonus point the way that it currently sits. Right, Christian Leo Willie off the field. That is going to be for Tom Christie. Okay, I think they've just said about Mark Talia. I think it was anyway, who said I didn't hit my head, it was just I had sore ribs. But they still made him go off, I think, for an HIA. What do you think about Richie Mo'unga return? 1.1 million returns fee. Says bucks. Yeah, it's a pretty pricey one, isn't it? For Richie Mo'unga to return. Currently 17 minutes remaining. This is the type of moment that they would have loved to have Richie Mo'unga as a choice. Although, saying that, we did see the last try actually assisted by Fergus Burke. So that will give him a lot of confidence after what has been a bit of a rough game. Well, we'll go like that. And I like that as well. Now, looking to push this one hard, the Crusaders. They're going to get themselves another penalty advantage at scrum time. They've got momentum flowing. Hotham goes to the short side. Oh, they're going to go back. What's happened here? Funaki rushed up. Right, Dolman says he's going to explain it. Ask again where that ref from, Amy. Not sure, but it's James Dolman. He's from New Zealand. Get another try, says David. Okay. So the penalty was against the Blues, but because the Crusaders players were then holding the Blues players into the scrum, that is why it's become going back for the penalty. If that makes sense. Okay, 7 red, so that is Tom Christie. No, sorry, that's actually Ethan Blackadder holding in Cameron Suafua. And Crusaders will need more than just Richie Mo'unga to win this tournament. I knew these status came to play. Says that Nars Williams and draw coach Mick said that the Fijian draw will win against the Landers. Let's hope the draw will win. Says Elena there. Another change is going to be made now. Blues are still considered underdogs in this contest. Another try here might just about seal the deal. PJ Sheck onto the field here. Sam Knock also out there. He was the player who helped the Blues win their game up against the Hurricanes in the final moments of the game. Managed to get that strip of the ball. Now George Bell on the 22 with the line-out throw. Well taken by the Crusaders. They've got space to work with. And they go on the inside to Hone. Rover. George Bell straight at Choate as well as PJ Sheck. Now Hotham recycles to Grace. Runs it at Tui Palotu. Another advantage. That's for 17 offside this time against Josh Fusitua. And speaking of 17s, there's George Bauer with the possession. Hotham tries a little kick in behind. He's almost been clotheslined by Adrian Choate. Now looking for the kick, Cameron Suafua, and they'll go back for the penalty. I think the Crusaders should take the 3 here. This would give them the 7-point lead. Sound like Hamish supports the Crusaders? I've just said about the Crusaders having more of the ball. The Blues haven't touched the ball in the last maybe 4 or so minutes, so it's very easy to sound like I'm going for one side when the other side hasn't got the ball in hand. Dolman is the penalty again, and this one will be an easy 3 here for the Crusaders. How many more rounds, Emmy? There are only the 1 round after this. They're currently in round 13. They've got round 14 just around the corner. In fact, I think we're at round 15 just around the corner. Take the 3 guys. Says Bill Cornelius. Good evening, Hamish, the number 1 commentator. Sorry I'm late for the commentary. I was surfing this morning. Says Brian, well, it is good to see you now. And of course, we are going to be back for that game between Leinster and Toulouse. That is coming up very soon. And we have also got there, the referee is very alert. Says Bill Cornelius. If Moana win against the Crusaders, they are at the final. Although it also depends on the Fijian draw Highlanders game as well a little bit. If the draw win that one, then I believe Moana Pacifica can't go through. That looks like a mini Cam Roygaard in the stands. Hamish, you get so excited when the Crusaders score. I assume you didn't hear me when Ofa Tonga Fasi scored either of his tries. Because we got pretty hyped up for those ones too. It's all love, Hamish. Are you from South Island? Are you allowed to represent? No bias, says a Blues no. Now the Crusaders inside of their 22. It does look like Drummond will be rolling this one back. Oh, that's an awful kick from Mitch Drummond, and he's kicked it out on the full, but he was inside of his 22. Now 14 minutes remaining if the Blues had the ball yet. Not for a while, but they're about to have the line-out throw, so this could be the perfect opportunity for them to at least have half a chance. New Zealand team sucked badly in the London Sevens. I don't think it is the AB Sevens. Could be the under-20s maybe in that one. Now another advantage this time going the way of the Blues, who are down by 7 at the moment. I'm a draw supporter, but I think the Blues are getting opportunities for the Crusaders to get a bonus point and reach the top 8. They're still playing. Penalty advantage. Ball is in the hands of Ricky Riccatelli. Sam Knock going across. It's going to be knocked on by Plummer. And they will go back for the penalty yet again. It's going to be an interesting one though. The amount of time remaining. The Blues have decided they want to kick it for the corner. Fiaki should have kicked for the 3 points. He did. The score just hasn't updated. It's 29 points to 22 currently. You see the Black Ferns, they won 63-19 against the Wallaroos. I didn't know the score, but I know that they did dominate in that game by the sounds of it. Come on, the Blues, says Novman there. And 2 likes left till 60, says Eleanor. So anyone who is new, be sure to hit that like button. Also subscribe to the channel. We're back next week for more Super Rugby. The Blues going head-to-head with the Chiefs. The Crusaders up against Moana Pacifica. And then also the Highlanders, they will be going head-to-head with the Hurricanes. And Super Rugby keeps cooking. Cracking game, says Anthony. And also the draw will lose over only crowd hypers, says Ivan, although they have got a home game up against the Rebels, so that will be the perfect opportunity for them to get some points on the board. 12 minutes left. Ricky Riccatelli, he can't hear the call. By the sounds of it, he's had to just drop it in. It was close to a knock-on from the Blues, but it's going to be shut down by Bell. He's trying to seal it off, but the ball is still there for the Blues. Sam Knott goes across to PJ Sheck. I think the argument that Ricky Riccatelli had there was there were a few fireworks and whatnot going off and maybe some music, so he couldn't actually hear the call that his side were trying to go for. Now around the side of the breakdown, Ricky Riccatelli, tackled by Grace. He's looking to be physical in the breakdown. Almost gave away the penalty advantage. Cameron Suafua chopped down low. Christie looked for the turnover, lost his footing too. And now the Blues, perfect opportunity to get back into a drawn situation. That is a bullet pass that has hit PJ Sheck straight in the chest, and it wasn't supposed to go to him. So impressive hands from the big man. Tui Pilotu gets the offload. Cole Forbes runs at the line. 2 meters out here for the Blues. Sam Knock goes across to Adrian Choate. This game is not over yet. Christie tries to roll out of the breakdown, but he's being penalised for not rolling away. Now Ricky Riccatelli, rough pass to Tui Pilotu, and they'll go back for the penalty yet again. The Black Ferns are a powerful force to be reckoned with, although the Crusaders, the Canadians, bet them the week prior. Of course, it's rare. This could go to golden point, says John. Yeah, although it's not as rare this season. We've seen actually quite a few golden point games. I believe 3 now in total. 12 penalties against the Blues, 7 against the Crusaders. And the Blues will yet again kick this one towards the corner. Season is over, Saders says debater of everything, presenter of nothing. And when both New Zealand teams play, it's going to be fireworks, says Geeta. And we get to see, theoretically, 3 New Zealand derbies next week as well, if you do include Moana Pacifica. While they do play their games mainly in New Zealand. Blues just want to stay within 7 points to win top spot, says Bill. Yeah, although, of course, they'd love to get themselves the win over this Crusaders side. That's going to be dropped by Tui Pilotu off to Ricky Riccatelli. Wasn't held. Was able to crawl forward again. Now Corey Evans. He's had a great game so far. Now around the side, Mark Talia shut down from the Crusaders, who have to make sure they are staying on side here. They also need a crucial turnover at some stage in the very near future. PJ Sheck runs it forward. Mark Talia running the side of the referee, which almost assists them in making a couple more meters. Not trying to get this ball out. They're going to go short side to Rico Ioane, who's taken down in a 2-man tackle. Now Knock looks to his inside to Ricky Riccatelli. Phase after phase after phase. The Blues trying to bust their way through the Crusaders defence, which for now is holding strong. Choate looks like he's fallen the wrong way. But they still get the ball out the back door. Here comes Sam Derry. Crawled a little bit closer to the line. Josh Fusitua. Can they keep him up? Yes, they can, but they were offside again for the Crusaders. They may find themselves playing with only 14 men on the field very soon. Out wide goes to AJ Lamb for the corner. Too strong for Johnny McNichol. And it's another try now coming for the Blues, but it's not going to be the easiest kick in this one of the day for the Blues. But both sides just on attack have been pretty strong throughout this contest. Yes, sir, says Blues, and great commentary. Aaron says amazing product. And those three guys to the left, says FKR. I assume you're talking about these blokes. Not actually too sure who they are. Looks like one of them is a ball boy. Well, it looks like a great finish from AJ Lamb, just showing off his strength, running over the top of Johnny McNichol, who thought he had him till he didn't. There's no chance of stopping him from that close to the line. Go the Blues, and let's go Blues, got to reign or regain that number one spot, says Jacob Hill, and there as well. But now, important kicker, Sefo Masi is in the chat. As they keep up the good work, mate. Of course, going to be in action tomorrow, or Sefo Masi up against the Highlanders. Now, Harry Plummer, he's 3 from 4. His last kick, oh, wait a minute, they said the distance for this kick is 84 metres. Now, I'm no mathematician, but that's not correct. 84 metres. I thank Hamish for that excitement in your voice. And let's go Blues, up the Blues, says Dewey, but now lining up this one for Harry Plummer. He's missed it. So 7 minutes remaining. Points difference between these two sides is only 2. And it is anyone's game for the final moments of this matchup. Do let me know, ladies and gents, who do you think is going to win it? Plummer kicks 84 metres in his dreams, says Jacob Hill. Yeah, I think they were a little bit wrong with their stats in that one. I would have gotten that 84 metre kick, says Pads Ablaze. If the Blues, says David. David's not a fan of the Blues, it would seem. Looks like Forbes, they've just said he's on the field for Evans, although he's been on the field for quite a bit of time. Josh Beery now making his way out there. That is for Sam Derry. Another one, lads. Let's get it, come on, but they are just outside of their 22. Penalty goes the way of the Blues. Mistake from the Crusaders. I believe that's George Bell. He's been penalised for not rolling away. That will give them excessive metres to be made. Sorry, Hamish, in the game, not this one. Says Blues, Nate. Is this the best the Crusaders can do now? No excuses. Says Ceaseless. And Saders will win, says amazing product. And the chat as well. But now Harry Plummer looking for the touchline, doesn't find it. Mistake made by the Crusaders, followed by a mistake made by the Blues. Johnny McNichol chasing after this one. The last time he kicked the ball down the field like he just did, the Blues ended up scoring a try on the counter-attack. Good shot on Ricky Riccatelli by his opposite number, George Bell, who looked like maybe his headgear or at least the strapping around his head. That's a knock-on from Ioane. Counter-attack now for the Crusaders. Terrible decision from Fergus Burke there. He decided to grubber it in behind. Peter Feder will kick it into touch. But if you've got the knock-on advantage, surely you either run that ball or you go back for the scrum, which has been utterly dominant throughout this game for the Crusaders. At worst, you win a penalty. So that was a weird decision from Fergus Burke. Maybe a little bit of inexperience. Doesn't find touch, bro. And yeah, that one had to find touch from Harry Plummer. At the moment, it seems like it's a battle of which team can make the most mistakes in the closing moments. Whether it's going to be Plummer or whether it's going to be Burke. Because both of them making crucial errors back-to-back in that little bit of play. The Crusaders have got themselves the line-out throw. Looks like there's going to be a head knock assessment here. 23. So that is actually going to be Rover who will need a head injury assessment here by the sounds of it. Right score, Hammy. Says Spider-Mick. It is not. No, it's been very slow with the updating today by the looks of it. In fact, it still hasn't updated. It's got the right time, roughly, but yeah, it hasn't added that try of the Blues as of yet. But the score is 29 points to 27 as it currently sits. Now, it is definitely going to be going down to the wire. As it stands, Crusaders with a win would have an 18% chance of making the playoffs. If they lose this game, though, they are gone. That'd be a very interesting one. Plymouth's Eris was worse because he didn't find touch, then Burke. So here's Patrick, now nicely claimed by the Crusaders. They'll be looking for a penalty advantage here to be able to extend their lead to 5, or at best, they'll be looking for a big try and a big man running the ball forward now into Mighty Williams. Cullen Grace round the side of the breakdown. Haven't seen a huge amount of Hoskins Satutu throughout this matchup, as he needs the big turnover near the end of this game. Still in possession for the Crusaders to Mighty Williams. Drives his legs. Saders 12 metres out from the line. Great defence so far throughout this game for the Blues. Players piling up all over the place at the moment. About 7 forwards all flat down on their face. Wish me luck tomorrow. Bye. There's a Sefamasi. Yeah, of course, that afternoon game taking place between the Drua and the Highlanders. 3.5 minutes remaining. Blackadder hits it up again. Ball still there for the Crusaders with Tom Christie. 3.5 minutes left. A converted try here would secure the game for the Crusaders, I believe. With the amount of time remaining, Quinton Strange, another carry. 5 metres out. They want the penalty advantage, but they have not got it yet. Jamie Hanna gets flattened out. Ball is there. It's knocked backwards, and it's actually going to be... I thought it was going to be a knock-on advantage against the Blues, but at the moment, the way that it sits, there are no advantages for either side. 15 phases in a row. Crusaders getting worked towards the touchline by this Blues defence. They have to make sure they go back on the inside. And they go to George Bauer. 3 minutes remaining, ladies and gentlemen. They look like they're just going to continue using their forwards. George Bell picks the ball up, makes an extra metre as he's tackled by Josh Fusitua. Blackadder, the man who started it all with his first try in the contest, still available. Tom Christie now, round the side of the breakdown, gets within a metre, choked back up to his feet, tries to get the turnover, but he is unable to do so. They're 1 metre out here, the Crusaders. Who will be the man who puts the final knock on the coffin? That is going to be an advantage now to the Crusaders as well. They shift it out wide, and McNichol fumbles because that's what he always does. Or did he score it? Lost forward, good one, Johnny. And they'll go back now for another penalty. If any man you wanted out on the wing, the last man's name that you would want is Johnny McNichol. I tell you that right now. David Arveli's a close second. But do they go for the scrum here, the Crusaders? McNichol having a fumble session and then drops the ball over the line. All he needed to do was put it down. But yeah, we've seen him all throughout the season just blunder those opportunities. It looks like they're going for the scrum here, the Crusaders. They're 5 metres out from the line. A penalty try here would win them the game. A try with a conversion would win them the game. A Blues scrum defence to stop the Crusaders from scoring will give the Blues the chance. I'd bet my house and car that the Blues are winning this game. You might be homeless very soon because the Crusaders have only got a minute to have to work. They'll have a scrum reset here as well to use up a little bit more time. Nothing is really gained for the Crusaders by going for this last try once time is up. They will have to put it into touch. There is currently 1 minute remaining on the clock exactly now. The crowd is singing along to some Neil Diamond. That man must make royalties all around the world for Sweet Caroline. Let's Saders win this game. Says TJ, so the Crusaders are somehow still alive in the playoff picture. They actually are if they win this contest. They've got 45 seconds remaining. Big scrum coming from the Crusaders forward back, but beautifully defended by the Blues. Adrian Choate knocks the ball on in the breakdown, I believe. But it's still going to be on the side of the Crusaders. They've got 30 seconds. This is where they have to put their Crusaders, to a certain extent, the ego aside. Once you hit 80 minutes, you have to kick this ball into touch if you're the Crusaders. Getting away from a bonus point situation, that's another advantage. They can use up the rest of the time now, the Crusaders. All they have to do is go 3 more phases, boot the ball into touch. They'll go back for the penalty. No advantage against the Blues. They're ill-disciplined. Going to let them down at the end of this game. Choate and Blackadder look like they're about to throw hands like they're in a hockey scrap. Cross kick from Severis. Chaifiaki does take it and he's driven into touch. They'll go back for the penalty. And all the Crusaders need to do now is tap this one, kick it into touch, and they will be victorious. Rob Penny in the coaching box giving massive hugs to his other coaches. What's Justin Marshall on about? He said the Crusaders should still be playing. What are they playing for? Terrible decision from Justin Marshall there. Terrible take on it as well. He's just said because the Blues could have a losing bonus point. No, you got to kick it out, Justin. You're an idiot. It's going to be the end of the game. And the Crusaders win it 29 points to 27 over the Blues. But yeah, that decision from Justin Marshall, I don't think he had done the maths. The Crusaders don't care if the Blues get a losing bonus point. They just needed a win. They couldn't increase their amount of points. They could get a better points differential, but at the end of the day, like, it's not going to make that much of a difference when you see these sides who have minus 106, minus 87, minus 81, minus 187. They needed to put that ball out. It's exactly what they've done, and the Crusaders have won that game 29 points to 27. This means, if I'm not mistaken, the Hurricanes are now in the box seat, claim the number 1 seed. They are not. The Blues, because they got their bonus point, actually do take back that top spot on the overall table as they have got the better points differential. But the Blues, they'll be disappointed. They were right in this contest all throughout it. Crusaders need to beat Moana Pacifica. They do, but they also have to rely on some of the other results. Like they mentioned, even if the Crusaders won that game, which they have now, they are in the situation of only an 18% chance of making their way through. Plummer not far behind McNichol, says Geetan. Awesome Crusaders from an Auckland fan. Well deserved. I won a game of darts today. Great call, brother, says Doctor. And Crusaders made it their mission, says Bill. And go for the 3-point Saders. And Shane Blues, says David. And there, and even Cantabrians don't listen to Marshall. Yeah, I can't work out why he felt like going for the corner and trying to score one extra try was worthwhile in this case. Because then what worse comes to worse, your line-out's not straight. The Blues get themselves a penalty. They work their way down the field. They score the try, and you lose your chance of making it to the playoffs. And thanks for the commentary, Hamish. We'll see you later for the Champions Cup final, says Anthony. And, of course, that one is going to be starting at 1:30 a.m. New Zealand time. So, hopefully, we do get to see quite a few of you guys tuning in for that one. Congrats, Saders. Good works. Do it for Coach Rob Penny. And, how's everyone? And got to give the kids something to cheer about, says Ceaseless. And there as well. But welcome in, Ryan. Hope you are keeping well, mate. And this also be a good wake-up call for the Blues heading into the finals, says Hagen. And yeah, the question is, will they be playing the Crusaders in the quarterfinal, ladies and gentlemen? It is now a possibility. But we'll have to wait and see. Of course, Moana Pacifica will have to get themselves a big win to stop the Crusaders' momentum. Thanks to the ref, says Spider-Mech. And great calling over, says Roy. And are we seeing what could be the greatest comeback in rugby history? We have to wait and see, of course. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. Tomorrow for Super Rugby, we have got the game taking place between the Highlanders and the Fijian draw, so be sure to check in for that one as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you all for the next one, 1:30 a.m., which is in about 4.5 hours' time between Leinster and Toulouse in the Champions Cup final.